the 2024 CDL Hazmat practice test. This test has 60 questions with explained answers to help you prepare for this test. Before we get started, don't forget to jumpstart that like button to keep this channel running. Now here is your CDL instructor to walk you through the questions.
Question 1. Is it permissible for you, as a driver, to transport hazardous materials without having a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL, commercial driver's license? A. Yes, you can transport hazardous materials without an endorsement. B. No, you must have a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL to transport hazardous materials. C. Yes, but only if the hazardous materials are in small quantities. D. No, but you can transport hazardous materials if you have a regular driver's license. The correct answer is B. No, you must have a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL to transport hazardous materials. To transport hazardous materials legally, you must possess a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license, CDL. This endorsement indicates that you have undergone specialized training and have been certified to handle and transport hazardous materials safely. Operating a vehicle carrying hazardous materials without the required endorsement is a violation of regulations and can result in penalties and legal consequences. Question 2. Regarding refusing shipment of leaking packages, who holds the responsibilities for this action? A. The carrier company receiving the shipment. B. The shipper sending the hazardous materials. C. The local law enforcement at the destination. D. The receiver of the shipment. The correct answer is A. The carrier company receiving the shipment. The carrier company that receives the shipment holds the responsibilities for refusing packages that are leaking. It is the carrier's duty to inspect and ensure the safe transportation of hazardous materials. If any packages are found to be leaking or damaged, the carrier company must refuse the shipment and take appropriate actions to address the situation, such as contacting the shipper for repackaging or proper disposal. Question 3. What information is provided for each item description on a shipping paper? A. The shipping method for the item. B. The quantity of the item being shipped. C. The materials hazard class of the item. D. The destination address for the item. The correct answer is C. The materials hazard class of the item. On a shipping paper, each item description includes the materials hazard class of the item being shipped. The hazard class categorizes the material based on its potential risks and hazards during transportation. This information is vital for ensuring proper handling, storage, and transportation of hazardous materials, as it helps individuals involved in the shipping process to understand the potential dangers and take appropriate safety measures. The shipping paper serves as a crucial document for authorities and those handling the materials to ensure compliance with regulations and protect public safety. Question 4. What is the requirement for displaying placards on a vehicle that necessitates them? A. Only when driving on highways and interstates. B. Only when carrying hazardous materials in large quantities. C. At all times while transporting the specified hazardous materials. D. Only when requested by law enforcement during inspections. The correct answer is C. At all times while transporting the specified hazardous materials. A vehicle that requires placards must display the placards at all times while transporting the specified hazardous materials. Placards serve as essential visual warnings to inform others about the presence of hazardous materials on board the vehicle. It is crucial to maintain these placards during the entire transportation process to ensure that the public, emergency responders, and other road users are aware of the potential risks associated with the cargo. Question 5. During the fueling process of a placarded vehicle, what is the required action that must always be observed? A. Standing inside the vehicle cabin. B. Holding the placards in hand. C. Monitoring the fuel gauge continuously. D. Attending the fueling nozzle at all times. The correct answer is D. Attending the fueling nozzle at all times. When fueling a placarded vehicle, it is essential that someone is always attending the fueling nozzle. This safety measure helps prevent spills, overflows, and ensures prompt action in case of emergencies during the fueling process. It is necessary to stay alert and ready to stop the fuel flow immediately if any issues arise. Question 6. What does it signify if the word forbidden appears in the hazardous materials class column of an entry in the hazardous materials table? A. The material is allowed for transportation under specific conditions. B. The material is prohibited for transportation under any circumstances. C. The material can be transported without any restrictions or regulations. D. The material is allowed for transportation but requires special handling. The correct answer is B. The material is prohibited for transportation under any circumstances. If the word forbidden appears in the hazardous materials class column of an entry in the hazardous materials table, it means that the material is strictly prohibited for transportation under any circumstances. This indicates that the material is considered too hazardous or dangerous to be transported safely, and it is not allowed to be shipped by any means of transport. Question 7. When the vehicle is loaded with a flammable liquid, how many feet away from the vehicle are you, as the driver, allowed to smoke? A. 25 feet. B. 50 feet. C. 100 feet. D. 200 feet. The correct answer is C. 100 feet. As the driver of a vehicle loaded with a flammable liquid, you are not permitted to smoke within 100 feet of the vehicle. This safety regulation is in place to minimize the risk of ignition or accidental fires, as flammable liquids can pose a significant hazard if exposed to an open flame or heat source like a cigarette. Question 8. Which signals can be employed to alert others of a stationary vehicle carrying flammable liquid? A. Horn honking and flashing hazard lights. B. Using hand signals and waving a flag. C. Turning on the high beams and tail lights. D. Activating the windshield wipers and headlights. The correct answer is A. Horn honking and flashing hazard lights. When a vehicle carrying flammable liquid is stopped, it is crucial to warn others to prevent potential accidents or hazards. The most appropriate signals to use in such a situation are to honk the horn and activate the hazard lights. Honking the horn alerts nearby drivers and pedestrians, while the flashing hazard lights serve as a clear visual warning, indicating a potential danger on the road. These actions can help increase awareness and give other road users sufficient time to react and proceed with caution. Question 9. If a 2-liter bottle of material is classified as a flammable liquid and also labeled as a poison inhalation hazard, how should you placard the vehicle? A. Placard with flammable liquid only. B. Placard with poison inhalation hazard only. C. Placard with both flammable liquid and poison inhalation hazard. D. Placard with hazardous material without specific labels. The correct answer is C. Placard with both flammable liquid and poison inhalation hazard. When transporting a 2-liter bottle of material that is classified as both a flammable liquid and labeled as a poison inhalation hazard, it is necessary to display both placards on the vehicle. Placarding with flammable liquid indicates the primary hazard of the material, while poison inhalation hazard provides additional information about its potential danger if inhaled. Placarding the vehicle correctly ensures that first responders and other individuals are aware of the specific hazards present during transportation. Question 10. Who bears the responsibility of verifying that the shipper has accurately named, labeled, and marked a hazardous material shipment? A. The carrier transporting the shipment. B. The recipient of the hazardous materials. C. The manufacturer of the hazardous materials. D. The shipper sending the hazardous materials. The correct answer is A. The carrier transporting the shipment. The responsibility for ensuring that the shipper has correctly named, labeled, and marked a hazardous material shipment falls on the carrier transporting the goods. It is the carrier's duty to review the shipping papers, labels, and marks provided by the shipper to verify the accuracy and compliance with hazardous materials regulations. This thorough inspection is crucial for maintaining safety and adhering to legal requirements during the transportation of hazardous materials. By holding the carrier accountable for this verification process, authorities can ensure that hazardous materials are handled and transported safely and that the risk of accidents or incidents is minimized.
Question 11. What are the dimensions of a hazardous materials placard? A. 8 inches by 8 inches. B. 10 inches by 10 inches. C. 12 inches by 12 inches. D. 14 inches by 14 inches. The correct answer is C. 12 inches by 12 inches. A hazardous materials placard typically measures 12 inches by 12 inches in size. Placards are displayed on vehicles transporting hazardous materials to alert the public, emergency responders, and other drivers about the presence of hazardous materials and the associated risks. The standardized CZ ensures that the placards are easily visible and recognizable, helping to improve safety and proper handling during transportation. Question 12. What is the minimum distance you must maintain between your parked vehicle and an open flame? A. 25 feet. B. 50 feet. C. 75 feet. D. 100 feet. The correct answer is D. 100 feet. When parking your vehicle, it is essential to ensure a safe distance from any open flame. You must not park within 100 feet of an open flame. This safety measure helps prevent potential fire hazards and reduces the risk of accidents or explosions, especially when transporting hazardous materials or flammable cargo. Question 13. What action is required when the shipping papers contain the phrase inhalation hazard? A. Use poison placards along with any other required placards. B. Use hazard-specific placards required by the product. C. Ignore the shipping papers and follow standard placarding. D. Remove all placards from the shipment. The correct answer is A. Use poison placards along with any other required placards. When the shipping papers indicate inhalation hazard, it is mandatory to use poison placards in addition to any other placards required by the specific product being transported. Inhalation hazard refers to the potential risk of inhaling harmful substances from the hazardous materials, and using the appropriate placards helps communicate this danger to others on the road and emergency responders. Employing poison placards, in conjunction with other necessary placards, ensures that the hazardous nature of the cargo is adequately conveyed and helps maintain safety standards during transportation. This practice is essential for compliance with regulations and the safe handling of hazardous materials. Question 14. When your vehicle contains explosives, oxidizers, or flammables, what is the minimum distance within which smoking is prohibited? A. 25 feet. B. 50 feet. C. 100 feet. D. 200 feet. The correct answer is B. 50 feet. When your vehicle is transporting explosives, oxidizers, or flammable materials, it is crucial to maintain safety measures to prevent potential accidents or fires. No one should smoke within a minimum distance of 50 feet from the vehicle. This restriction helps reduce the risk of ignition and keeps any potential sources of flames at a safe distance from the hazardous materials. Question 15. The hazardous materials regulations have two main objectives: ensuring safe drivers and equipment and communicating the risk. What is the third objective? A. Minimizing the transportation cost of hazardous materials. B. Providing financial incentives for companies handling hazardous materials. C. Establishing guidelines for emergency response plans. D. Simplifying paperwork requirements for hazardous materials shipments. The correct answer is C. Establishing guidelines for emergency response plans. The third intent of the hazardous materials regulations is to establish guidelines for emergency response plans. These regulations aim to ensure that appropriate measures are in place to handle and respond to hazardous materials incidents effectively. Emergency response plans provide a structured approach to dealing with accidents, spills, or other emergencies involving hazardous materials during transportation. Question 16. What is a requirement for transporting Class A and B explosives concerning the floor liner of the vehicle? A. A rubber floor liner not less than 1/8 of an inch thick. B. A plastic floor liner not less than 1/16 of an inch thick. C. A wooden floor liner not less than 1/16 of an inch thick. D. A steel floor liner not less than 1/16 of an inch thick. The correct answer is D. A steel floor liner not less than 1/16 of an inch thick. The transportation of Class A and B explosives necessitates a steel floor liner that is not less than 1/16 of an inch thick. This steel liner provides additional protection and containment for the vehicle's floor, enhancing safety during the transportation of explosive materials. Steel is chosen for its strength and resistance to damage, ensuring that the vehicle's floor can withstand potential impacts and reduce the risk of accidents or incidents involving the explosives. Question 17. What should you do to determine if a shipment contains a hazardous product? A. Check the shipment's weight and dimensions. B. Inspect the shipment for any damages. C. Review the shipping documents and labels. D. Contact the shipping company for confirmation. The correct answer is C. Review the shipping documents and labels. To identify whether a shipment includes a hazardous product, you should review the shipping documents and labels. The shipping documents, such as the bill of lading or shipping manifest, will specify the contents of the shipment and indicate if any hazardous materials are included. Additionally, labels and placards on the packaging will provide clear visual cues regarding the presence of hazardous substances. Familiarizing yourself with the information on shipping documents and labels is essential for ensuring proper handling, storage, and transportation of hazardous materials. By following this procedure, you can take appropriate safety precautions and adhere to regulatory requirements related to the transportation of hazardous products. Question 18. Identify the correct hazardous material class or division for white phosphorus. A. Class 1, explosives. B. Class 3, flammable liquids. C. Class 4, flammable solids. D. Class 6, toxic substances. The correct answer is C. Class 4, flammable solids. White phosphorus belongs to Class 4, flammable solids. It is a pyrophoric material, meaning it ignites spontaneously in air at or below room temperature. Due to its flammable properties, it is classified under Class 4 in the Hazardous Materials Classification System. Question 19. What is the required placarding for a vehicle carrying 500 pounds each of explosive A and B according to federal law? A. Explosive placard only. B. Explosive placard and Class 1 placard. C. Class 1 placard only. D. No placarding required. The correct answer is B. Explosive placard and Class 1 placard. According to federal law, a vehicle carrying 500 pounds each of explosive A and B must be placarded with both an explosive placard and a Class 1 placard. The Class 1 placard indicates the primary hazard class of explosives, while the explosive placard provides more specific information about the type of explosives being transported. Placarding is essential for communicating the presence of hazardous materials to other drivers, emergency responders, and the general public, ensuring they are aware of the potential risks and can take necessary precautions. By complying with the placarding requirements, the vehicle operator helps maintain safety standards and regulatory compliance during the transportation of hazardous materials. Question 20. While inspecting a vehicle carrying hazardous cargo, where should the shipping papers be placed to ensure visibility? A. Inside the glove compartment. B. On the dashboard, visible through the windshield. C. Under the driver's seat, easily accessible. D.
in the side door pocket within reach of the driver. The correct answer is B, on the dashboard, visible through the windshield. When inspecting a vehicle carrying hazardous cargo, the shipping papers must be placed on the dashboard where they are clearly visible through the windshield. This placement ensures that relevant authorities, such as law enforcement or inspectors, can easily verify the nature of the cargo being transported and check for compliance with hazardous materials regulations.
Question 21. When transporting 2,000 pounds of phosphoric acid, how far should you avoid parking from the traveled portion of the highway, except during normal operations for a brief period? A, 100 feet, B, 200 feet, C, 300 feet, D, 500 feet. The correct answer is C, 300 feet. When hauling 2,000 pounds of phosphoric acid, you must not park your vehicle within 300 feet of the traveled portion of the highway, except when it is necessary for normal operations during a brief period. This safety requirement is essential to prevent any potential hazards or accidents on the road, as phosphoric acid is a hazardous material that can pose risks to public safety if not handled properly. Question 22. What action should you take if hazardous materials are spilling from your vehicle? A. Park your vehicle off the road and activate hazard lights. B. Continue driving cautiously to reach a safer location. C. Slow down and proceed to the nearest service station. D. Move your vehicle away from traffic and inspect the damage. The correct answer is A. Park your vehicle off the road and activate hazard lights. If hazardous materials are spilling from your vehicle, the immediate and crucial action to take is to park your vehicle off the road, ensuring it does not obstruct traffic. Activate the hazard lights to warn other drivers of the potential danger. This safety measure is essential to prevent further accidents or incidents on the road and to protect the public and the environment from exposure to the hazardous materials. Question 23. What is the maximum allowable total transport index of all packages in a single vehicle when transporting radioactive material? A. 1.0, B. 5.0, C. 10.0, D. It varies depending on the type of radioactive material. The correct answer is C. 10.0. When transporting radioactive material, the total transport index, TI, of all packages in a single vehicle must not exceed 10.0. The transport index is a measure of the radiation level at a specific distance from the external surface of the package. It ensures that the overall radiation exposure during transportation remains within safe limits for the public and those handling the packages. Question 24. Classify uranium under the appropriate hazardous material class or division. A. Class 1, explosives. B. Class 7, radioactive materials. C. Class 6, toxic substances. D. Class 3, flammable liquids. The correct answer is B. Class 7, radioactive materials. Uranium belongs to Class 7, radioactive materials. Uranium is a naturally occurring radioactive element used in various applications, including nuclear fuel for power generation and in certain medical and industrial processes. Due to its radioactive properties, it falls under Class 7 in the Hazardous Materials Classification System. Question 25. What is required when dealing with packages of explosives? A. Wear a high-visibility vest for visibility. B. Have a fire extinguisher nearby at all times. C. Use proper handling and safety measures. D. Notify the nearest shipping office immediately. The correct answer is C. Use proper handling and safety measures. When handling packages of explosives, it is essential to follow proper handling and safety measures. Explosives are extremely dangerous materials that require careful attention to prevent accidents and ensure the safety of everyone involved. Using proper handling techniques includes following specific protocols for loading, unloading, and securing the packages, as well as taking necessary precautions to avoid impacts, shocks, or temperature fluctuations that could lead to detonation. Adhering to safety measures, such as using specialized equipment,
wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, and maintaining a safe distance from other hazardous materials significantly reduces the risk of accidents and ensures the safe transportation and handling of explosives. Question 26. How would you describe the non-flammable gas placard? A. Red background with a white flame symbol and number 2 in the middle. B. White background with a green gas cylinder symbol and the word non-flammable in black letters. C. Blue background with a white gas cylinder symbol and the word non-flammable gas in black letters. D. Yellow background with a black diamond symbol and the letters NF in white. The correct answer is C. Blue background with a white gas cylinder symbol and the word non-flammable gas in black letters. The non-flammable gas placard is represented by a blue background with a white gas cylinder symbol and the words non-flammable gas in black letters. This placard is used to identify vehicles carrying non-flammable gases such as nitrogen, helium, or argon, which pose minimal fire hazards during transportation. The blue color and non-flammable gas wording help quickly distinguish these placards from other hazardous material placards. Question 27. What is the appropriate approach for handling railroad crossings if your vehicle is placarded? A. Slow down and proceed with caution without stopping. B. Come to a complete stop and wait for the railroad signal to turn green. C. Speed up to clear the railroad crossing quickly. D. Always change lanes before crossing the railroad tracks. The correct answer is A. Slow down and proceed with caution without stopping. When your vehicle is placarded, indicating that it is transporting hazardous materials, the appropriate way to handle railroad crossings is to slow down and proceed with caution without stopping, if it is safe to do so. Stopping on railroad tracks is extremely dangerous, especially if your vehicle carries hazardous materials. Instead, maintain a slow and steady pace while crossing the tracks, ensuring there is enough space between your vehicle and the tracks to avoid any potential incidents or collisions. Question 28. Where should you store your shipping papers containing information about hazardous materials? A. In the glove compartment. B. Under the driver's seat. C. In a pouch under the passenger seat. D. On the dashboard. The correct answer is C. In a pouch under the passenger seat. Shipping papers containing details about hazardous materials must be kept in a pouch specifically designed for this purpose, and it should be placed under the passenger seat. This practice ensures that the important documents are easily accessible to the driver and can be quickly presented to authorities or emergency responders if needed. Storing the papers securely in a designated pouch helps maintain organization and prevents them from getting lost or damaged during transit. Keeping the shipping papers in a pouch under the passenger seat is a safe and compliant way to have them readily available when transporting hazardous materials. Question 29. What are the dimensions of a hazardous materials label? A. 2 inches by 2 inches. B. 3 inches by 3 inches. C. 4 inches by 4 inches. D. 5 inches by 5 inches. The correct answer is B. 3 inches by 3 inches. A hazardous materials label is typically sized at 3 inches by 3 inches. These labels are used to identify and provide essential information about hazardous materials being transported. The standardized size ensures visibility and legibility of the label on packages and containers, making it easier for emergency responders, handlers, and regulatory authorities to identify the type of hazardous material present and take appropriate safety measures. Question 30. Regarding hazardous material transportation by a common carrier, who bears the responsibility for packaging, labeling, and preparing the shipping papers? A. The consignee receiving the shipment. B. The driver operating the common carrier vehicle. C. The shipper sending the hazardous material. D.
the regulatory authorities overseeing the transportation. The correct answer is C, the shipper sending the hazardous material. The shipper of the hazardous material is responsible for packaging, labeling, and preparing the shipping papers when using a common carrier for transportation. This includes ensuring that the hazardous materials are appropriately packaged, labeled, and accompanied by accurate shipping papers that provide relevant information about the contents and the necessary precautions during transportation.
Question 31. Which of the following shipping paper descriptions is correct? A. All the shipping paper descriptions are accurate. B. None of the shipping paper descriptions are accurate. C. Only one of the shipping paper descriptions is accurate. D. Multiple shipping paper descriptions are accurate. The correct answer is C. Only one of the shipping paper descriptions is accurate. Among the provided shipping paper descriptions, only one of them is correct. The other descriptions may contain errors or inaccuracies. This question emphasizes the need for careful attention and accuracy when preparing shipping papers for hazardous materials, as any incorrect information could lead to safety risks and regulatory violations. Question 32. How frequently should you stop your vehicle and inspect any dual tires when transporting hazardous materials, or which condition occurs first? A. Every 2 hours or 100 miles driven. B. Every 4 hours or 200 miles driven. C. Every 6 hours or 300 miles driven. D. Every 8 hours or 400 miles driven. The correct answer is B. Every 4 hours or 200 miles driven. When hauling hazardous materials, it is essential to conduct regular inspections to ensure the safety of the transportation. The appropriate frequency for stopping and checking dual tires is every 4 hours or every 200 miles driven, whichever comes first. This measure helps identify any potential tire issues or damages that might compromise the safe transport of hazardous materials. Question 33. Classify gasoline under the appropriate hazardous material class or division. A. Class 1, explosives. B. Class 2, gases. C. Class 3, flammable liquids. D. Class 6, toxic substances. The correct answer is C. Class 3, flammable liquids. Gasoline falls under Class 3, flammable liquids. It is highly flammable and poses a significant fire hazard. Class 3 includes liquids with a flash point below 60.5 degrees Celsius, 141 degrees Fahrenheit, and a boiling point at or above 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Gasoline's properties make it a Class 3 hazardous material during transportation. Question 34. What information is essential to determine the placard to use on your vehicle? A. The vehicle's color and size. B. The weight of the hazardous material being transported. C. The name of the shipping company. D. The hazardous materials identification number and class. The correct answer is D. The hazardous materials identification number and class. To determine the appropriate placard to use on your vehicle, you must know the hazardous materials identification number and class. Placards are used to identify the type of hazardous material being transported and to alert others to the potential hazards associated with the cargo. The identification number and class are critical pieces of information needed to correctly identify the specific hazardous material and ensure compliance with hazardous materials regulations during transportation. Question 35. When your vehicle is loaded with Class A explosive materials, where is parking permitted for the vehicle? A. Any designated parking spot. B. In a designated truck stop area. C. Only in approved explosive materials storage facilities. D. Parking is strictly prohibited for vehicles carrying Class A explosives. The correct answer is D. Parking is strictly prohibited for vehicles carrying Class A explosives. When your vehicle is loaded with Class A explosive materials, parking is strictly prohibited. Class A explosives
are the most hazardous type of explosive materials, and their transportation demands the highest level of safety and security measures. Stopping or parking the vehicle in any location other than approved explosive materials storage facilities poses significant risks and dangers to public safety, property, and the environment. Therefore, it is crucial to strictly adhere to the prohibition on parking when transporting Class A explosive materials. Question 36. Where does the class of the hazardous material appear on a hazardous material placard? A. Top left corner. B. Bottom right corner. C. Center of the placard. D. Along the edges of the placard. The correct answer is C. Center of the placard. The class of the hazardous material appears in the center of the hazardous material placard. The placard is a diamond-shaped label used to identify the type of hazardous material being transported. In the center of the placard, a numerical code representing the class or division of the hazardous material is displayed. This code is vital for quickly identifying the type of hazard present and taking appropriate precautions. Question 37. What is a mandatory requirement when transporting chlorine in cargo tanks? A. A fire extinguisher on board. B. A hazardous materials endorsement on your driver's license. C. An emergency response guidebook in the cabin. D. A written route plan approved by the carrier. The correct answer is C. An emergency response guidebook in the cabin. When transporting chlorine in cargo tanks, it is a mandatory requirement to have an emergency response guidebook, ERG, in the cabin of the vehicle. The ERG provides essential information for drivers and first responders in the event of an emergency or incident involving the hazardous material being transported. It contains guidance on identifying the material, response procedures, and safety precautions to be taken. Question 38. For which item is loading into closed cargo spaces allowed only if packaged in fire-water-resistant materials and covered with a fire-water-resistant tarp? A. Flammable liquids. B. Radioactive materials. C. Explosives. D. Oxidizers. The correct answer is A. Flammable liquids. Flammable liquids should only be loaded into closed cargo spaces if they are packaged in fire-water-resistant materials and covered with a fire-water-resistant tarp. This safety measure is crucial to reduce the risk of fire or explosion during transportation. Flammable liquids can ignite easily, and in the event of a fire, the fire-water-resistant packaging and tarp help to contain and prevent the spread of flames and potentially hazardous liquids.
Question 39. What does the presence of an RQ, reportable quantity, before or after the HEMS, hazardous materials table, description on the shipping papers indicate? A. The material is not considered hazardous and has no reporting requirements. B. The shipment is exempt from hazardous materials regulations. C. The quantity of the material being transported exceeds the minimum amount requiring reporting in case of a spill or release. D. The material is radioactive and requires special handling. The correct answer is C. The quantity of the material being transported exceeds the minimum amount requiring reporting in case of a spill or release. If an RQ, reportable quantity, is mentioned before or after the HEMS, hazardous materials table, description on the shipping papers, it indicates that the quantity of the material being transported exceeds the minimum amount that requires reporting in the event of a spill or release. The reportable quantity is the threshold level set by regulatory agencies, and if the quantity of the hazardous material being shipped exceeds this threshold, it triggers specific reporting and emergency response requirements in case of any incidents or accidents during transportation. Question 40. What type of fires are BC fire extinguishers designed to combat? A. Electrical fires. B. Flammable liquid fires. C. Class A fires. D. Class C fires. The correct answer is B. Flammable liquid fires. B. C. Fire extinguishers are designed to combat flammable liquid fires. These types of extinguishers are effective against fires involving flammable liquids such as gasoline, oil, grease, and other liquid-based fuels. The BC classification indicates that the fire extinguisher is suitable for use on both Class B fires, involving flammable liquids, and Class C fires, involving energized electrical equipment. However, their primary purpose is to handle flammable liquid fires. Question 41. Where are placards required to be displayed on a placarded vehicle? A. Only on the front and rear. B. Only on the rear and both sides. C. Only on the front, rear, and one side. D. On the front, rear, and both sides. The correct answer is D. On the front, rear, and both sides. For a placarded vehicle carrying hazardous materials, it is a requirement to display placards on the front, rear, and both sides of the vehicle. Placards are large diamond-shaped signs that indicate the presence of hazardous materials and their respective hazard class. By placing placards on all these sides, it ensures that the hazardous nature of the cargo is easily identifiable from various angles, which is crucial for public safety and emergency response. Adhering to this regulation helps alert other drivers, emergency responders, and the general public to take appropriate precautions and responses when they encounter a hazardous materials transport vehicle on the road. Question 42. Where can regulated products be found listed? A. In the hazardous materials table only. B. In the regulated products table only. C. In both the hazardous materials table and the regulated products table. D. Regulated products are not listed in any specific tables. The correct answer is C. In both the hazardous materials table and the regulated products table. Regulated products are listed in two important tables: the hazardous materials table and the regulated products table. These tables are essential references for identifying and handling hazardous materials in accordance with regulations. It is crucial for drivers and handlers of hazardous materials to be aware of the contents of both tables to ensure compliance with safety protocols and regulations associated with these products. Question 43. Classify battery acid under the appropriate hazardous material class or division. A. Class 2, gases. B. Class 5, oxidizers. C. Class 8, corrosive materials. D. Class 9, miscellaneous hazardous materials. The correct answer is C. Class 8, corrosive materials. Battery acid is classified under Class 8, corrosive materials. It is a highly corrosive substance that can cause severe damage to skin, eyes, and other materials upon contact. Class 8 includes substances that have corrosive properties and can cause harm through chemical reactions. Battery acid's corrosive nature places it under Class 8 in the hazardous materials classification system.
Question 44. What must be included in the written instructions for a driver to transfer Class A and B explosives? A. The driver's contact information and driving history. B. The vehicle's registration and insurance details. C. The emergency response procedures and contact information. D. The handling and storage instructions for the explosives. The correct answer is C. The emergency response procedures and contact information. When transferring Class A and B explosives, the written instructions provided to the driver must include the emergency response procedures and contact information. Class A and B explosives are highly hazardous materials, and it is crucial to be prepared for any potential emergencies or accidents that may occur during transportation. By having clear instructions and emergency contact details readily available, the driver and relevant authorities can quickly respond to and manage any hazardous situations. These written instructions play a vital role in ensuring the safe handling, transportation, and containment of explosives, helping to protect public safety and minimize risks associated with these materials. Question 45. What does it indicate when an entry on a shipping paper is bold, highlighted, or printed in another color? A.
The item is non-hazardous and safe for transportation. B. Special handling instructions are required for the item. C. The item is exempt from shipping regulations. D. The entry is for administrative purposes only and has no significance. The correct answer is B. Special handling instructions are required for the item. When an entry on a shipping paper is bold, highlighted, or printed in another color, it signifies that special handling instructions are required for the item being transported. These visual cues draw attention to the specific entry, indicating that the material may have unique characteristics, hazards, or handling requirements that need to be strictly followed during transportation. Question 46. On the shipping papers, which information should be listed first for a hazardous product? The hazard class, the identification number, or its proper shipping name? A. Hazard class. B. Identification number. C. Proper shipping name. D. It can vary based on the type of hazardous product. The correct answer is C. Proper shipping name. When providing the basic description of a hazardous product on shipping papers, the proper shipping name must be listed first. This is a critical piece of information that accurately identifies the specific hazardous material being transported. The proper shipping name is essential for proper handling and emergency response measures in case of any incidents during transportation. While the hazard class and identification number are also crucial details, they should follow the proper shipping name on the shipping papers. Question 47. What type of fire extinguisher is necessary for a placarded vehicle? A. Class A fire extinguisher. B. Class B fire extinguisher. C. Class C fire extinguisher. D. Class ABC fire extinguisher. The correct answer is D. Class ABC fire extinguisher. A placarded vehicle which carries hazardous materials must have a Class ABC fire extinguisher. A Class ABC fire extinguisher is a versatile extinguisher suitable for handling fires involving ordinary combustibles, Class A, flammable liquids and gases, Class B, and electrical fires, Class C. Since a placarded vehicle may transport a variety of hazardous materials with different fire risks, a Class ABC fire extinguisher is the most appropriate choice to tackle various types of fires effectively.
Question 48. Regarding the shipping of hazardous material products, who holds the responsibility for determining the appropriate placards to use? A. The carrier company transporting the hazardous material. B. The driver of the vehicle handling the shipment. C. The regulatory authorities overseeing hazardous material transportation. D. The shipper sending the hazardous material product. The correct answer is D. The shipper sending the hazardous material product. The shipper of the hazardous material product bears the responsibility for determining the correct placards to use during shipping. It is the shipper's duty to correctly identify and classify the hazardous material, then select and affix the appropriate placards on the transport vehicle according to the hazardous materials regulations. The chosen placards must accurately represent the type of hazardous material being transported and provide essential information to ensure safe handling and proper emergency response in case of an incident. Question 49. What is the required validity period for a driver's certificate of radioactive materials training? A. 1 year. B. 2 years. C. 3 years. D. 5 years. The correct answer is C. 3 years. A driver's certificate of radioactive materials. Training must be valid for a period of 3 years. This means that after completing the training and obtaining the certificate, the driver is authorized to transport radioactive materials for a duration of 3 years from the date of issuance. Once the certificate reaches its expiration date, the driver must undergo a retraining session and obtain a new valid certificate to continue transporting radioactive materials legally. Question 50. What is the letter used to indicate that a shipment has been prepared in accordance with the rules? A, R, B, C, C, P, D, X. The correct answer is B, C,
The letter C is used as a certification symbol on shipping papers to indicate that a shipment has been prepared in compliance with the rules and regulations governing the transportation of hazardous materials. When the shipper includes the C certification on the shipping papers, it signifies that the hazardous materials have been properly packaged, labeled, and documented in accordance with the appropriate guidelines and requirements.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you still need more practice, then check out these videos or click the first link in the description to get your cheat sheet, which will help you pass your CDL exam on your first try.